Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see you all here. I'm Guanani Gomez-Van-Courtright, Editorial Fellow at Bay Nature, and I will be introducing Blanca Hernandez. Blanca is an environmental educator and director of programs and partnerships at Yes to Nature and Neighborhoods, which is a nonprofit in Richmond where she leads opportunities for youth and family to connect with the outdoors, reclaim connections with the natural world. And so, without further ado, on behalf of Bay Nature, I'd like to present the 2023 Environmental Education Award to Blanca Hernandez.
Been a long journey. I'm going to tell you about it. I think I need a clicker. Escucha la naturaleza. Para no lastimar sus sentimientos. Listen to nature so you don't hurt their feelings. That's what my father told me as a child when he was teaching me how to prune a tree. It was one of the few trees that we had on our property in the high desert in Mexico. He said, if you trim off too much, it'll think you're trying to harm it, and it'll be sad. But if you listen to it, you can hear for where it needs your support, and you can help it become strong. And it was poetic, puzzling things that my parents shared with me as a young child that really strengthened my connection to the outdoors and life all around us. Now, my parents had 3 daughters, and they had this dream that we would become economically self-sufficient. But life in the high desert, when there's very little water or access to education, was very difficult. So one day, like many immigrant families, we rolled the dice, played with our lives, and made our journey to this country in search for a better life. And luckily, our journey was protected. And when we arrived here safely, we focused on our goals, which was to get an education and a college degree. And my parents joined in the fun too. They went to night school to learn to speak, write, and read English right alongside us. Luckily, there was this organization called Migrant Ed, and my sister enrolled in that program, and that's how we met Mr. Olmo, who was like a guardian angel sent our way, who guided my sister into college, and then I followed in her footsteps. And wow, we ended up going to the University of San Diego. Yeah. I would go to summer camp as an engineer or for engineering in high school. I love math, I love physics, I love Richard Feynman. I do. And so I was quick to declare as an engineer when I entered, and I hung in there for a little bit, but then I met this guy. His name's Dr. Thurbert, and he was the chair of the English department. I didn't know this until I Googled this picture, but apparently he had also been an engineering major and then switched to an English degree major. So I just found that out, and whew, touched my heart, because he practically was one of the first teachers that actually took the time to get to know me, listen to me, and kidnap me from the engineering department. And that's how I graduated with liberal arts degree. I really thought about continuing my education, getting a master's, but by then, my sister Maya had already moved to the Bay Area, and my younger sister, Daya, was going to San Francisco State. So the Bay was already pulling me. I was already going to be here with you all today. And that's why I'm here. However, when I got here, I was stumbling through a couple jobs. I didn't really know where I was going to fit, and I started working in the Richmond schools. And I tell you, that was a very depleting environment because some of these schools are so under-resourced, and some of the teachers, unfortunately, were dimming young people's minds rather than letting them shine. I know that there are some amazing teachers. One of them is here, Meryl. I love you. Thank you for doing the work that you do in the Richmond schools. In being in that environment, I really was enraged. That's that Quetzalcoatl being mad. I suddenly, because I'd been so focused on that college degree, I'd had these horse blinders. So when I was suddenly in the school district, I was witnessing, and I was having my own personal trauma come up from systemic racism as an immigrant, as a woman of color, trying to get to my one goal. But because I could relate to folks in this community, I would often go, and because I grew up with such a strong connection to nature, I would often go camping with friends. Some of them are here. Thank you all for camping with me and allowing me to have, one day I had this vision of having the people that I worked with come camping with me because, shoot, if I'm having this healing experience and I know what they're going through, surely they could use this type of healing as well. And it so happened that this little organization called Yes was starting to form. They had just hired Eric, Yes's executive director, my brother from another mother. And they were looking for a second in command, and I applied. And I walked into that interview. I shook all of those panelists' hands, and I said, I've been looking for you. I got the job. So once I was on board, the first thing I did was I picked up the phone and I called all of the people that our programs were engaging, and I asked them, what are the impacts that our programs are having in your lives? And I also asked them, how can the organization support you? And that's really how we started growing our organization. And 15 years later, I am so proud of the work that we've been able to do alongside the community. And I really want to ask former Yes staff and current Yes staff to please stand up. I just really want to share this moment with you. Kelsey, Zaida, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for contributing to the Yes legacy and making it part of your lives too. Our work is so powerful and it doesn't get done alone. I mean, we really rely on volunteers. There's some here as well. Partners, also see you here as well. Yes's leadership in nature-based programming is a blanket of love that wraps around individuals who have historically been excluded from the outdoors and from leadership opportunities. We engage youth, adults, and families in environmental education, health and wellness, and the joy of the outdoors. We also educate on the histories and the policies that create inequities, and we nurture their leadership and inspire them to engage and advocate for our community and our environment. We know that regardless of the differences in our cultures, many of our ancestors based many of their practices by observing and listening to the natural world. And throughout history, some of us have been forcibly removed from this connection. And our work is about reclaiming that connection to the earth and embracing the power of nature to heal, inspire awe, and develop empowered and compassionate leaders. Now, you all know the latest climate report is pretty grim. And although our planet will restore itself, we will lose on the diversity of species, and we will ultimately be the ones to suffer from our current choices as a society. But as a woman who is a descendant of warriors, through my work, I will continue to develop leaders that advocate for our planet, because every starfish matters. We need to stop indigenous erasure. Black lives matter. Así que escucha la naturaleza para no lastimar sus sentimientos. So listen to nature so you don't hurt their feelings. Thank you.